listened to him on the KVJ show for years. Every time he tried to talk sports, he'd get shut down. After years of begging, we finally gave in. Brought to you by Bremen Motor Cars and by Wellington Anti-Aging. It's Kevin's Other Show on 640 The Hurricane.
Well, baby, we got a lot of stuff to get to here today. Dang. Going to be talking a little bit about Giancarlo back at Marlins Park last night. How'd that go down? How did he do? What was his take on that? We're going to talk probably a little bit about Hard Knocks on HBO last night. Man, I'm telling you, one of the best shows ever.
I'm really happy about this season. It's so good.
They've come out with the Vegas odds. What are the Dolphins' chances to win this year's Super Bowl?
Can we skip that? Can we skip that part?
Some crazy details from the Richie Incognito story we talked about yesterday, but just kind of hearing like, oh man, the devil's in the details, especially when it comes to this cat. Talk a little bit about the Urban Meyer decision that is going on, but we're going to kick it off today with Diener's favorite, man, Canes football. Canes football. It's good stuff, man.
That's right.
We got Joe Zagacki, the voice, the Miami Hurricanes, rolling in here with us today. What's up, Joe?
Everything is good. How are you?
Doing fantastic, man. Are you completely fired up and ready for this year?
Yeah, I think had a nice long summer. I'm ready for Miami to play LSU. Labor Day weekend, that's going to be quite an event out of AT&T Stadium, Cowboys Stadium, so really looking forward to it.
There's some questionable variables. I look at this game, and as you watch LSU, the biggest question mark, I think, with that team right now is who's going to step up and be quarterback and what's going to go on with them. And it seems like everybody's favoriting the Canes here. I don't know. Did your gut tell you one way or the other, Joe, how this game is going to play out? Because, you know, on paper right now, you got the Canes AP top 10 team. LSU's hovering right towards the bottom. It looks like, okay, Canes should be a favorite. Have you seen a spread on this, Diener? Is there a spread out there?
Yeah, right now it's still floating around 2.5, 3. So
really?
Yeah, it really hasn't moved too much.
That's tight, man.
It is.
That's tighter than I thought. How you feeling about this, Joe? What do you think?
Well, I think it's very close spread for a variety of reasons. One, LSU finished the season strong. Miami did not. Miami lost 3 in a row. LSU lost their bowl game, but they won 6 of their final 8. Mm-hmm. The other thing is LSU's got a ton of talent, and they've had all kinds of issues off the field during their training camp. They're trying to sort out who their quarterback is going to be. Mm-hmm. They've had multiple guys suspended. They've had a few injuries, but when you zero in on their roster and take a look at their top players on both sides of the ball, it's one 5-star player after another.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I promise you, when they take the field, there's not going to be a huge talent disparity between the two teams.
I think the big variable in this is LSU's quarterback. It's the question mark. For whatever reason, LSU has not had a lot of great quarterbacks.
No.
It's been the one blemish on that program for the longest time. I don't know if you've got a chance to check out this Joe Burrow, or Joe Burrow, as they call him,
yeah,
on the Bayou.
He's down in LSU now. No more Ohio State.
Joe Burrow.
Yeah.
Joe, have you gotten a reading on this guy? Because I'm a Buckeye dude, and I have watched this guy for the last 3 years, got a pretty good reading on him. I think he's a very capable quarterback, and he could be one of those guys that if the Canes don't have a reading on him, he's a mobile guy, pretty good arm. What are your thoughts? Have you gotten a chance to look at Joe Burrow yet, Joe?
He's got a great pedigree. I mean, you look at his background, Mr. Football in the state of Ohio, 4-star player. You look at his high school numbers, they were off the charts, 16,108 yards of total offense in high school,
dang.
166 touchdowns, but his college career, he wasn't able to beat the players out at Ohio State. Mm-hmm. He's played in 10 career games. He's 29 out of 39 in 10 career games. As you mentioned, probably a dual-threat quarterback, a guy that can run and throw. I think the problem that LSU has had in offense, beside the quarterback, they just haven't had a compass on offense. What are they going to be? Yep. What direction are they going to take?
Yeah.
And only one time since 1950 have they thrown more in a season than run the ball. And that was the 1999 season. So they've always been a ground-oriented team.
Yeah.
And I would suspect against Miami, even though Burrow looks like he's a capable thrower, and they've got a bevy of wide receivers and inexperienced running back, I still believe they're going to try to run the ball on Miami.
What kind of offense are they going to run? Because they brought in Matt Canada last year, 1-year experiment. He's already gone in at Maryland now. What are we going to see from the LSU offense? Does Miami know yet? I mean, are they going to be running some kind of like pro style? Are they going to be spread? What is going on with LSU's offense?
Yeah, Steve Ensminger is the offensive coordinator. He had that job in 2016. So Miami has spent a lot of time analyzing 2016. And even though, again, there are all these demands for LSU to be more of a spread team, and Joe Burrow is a spread quarterback, and go to 3 wide receivers and 4 wide receivers, and a hurry-up offense, I still believe at the core, with Ed Orgeron as the head coach, and the tradition of LSU, and Ensminger knowing LSU as well as anybody, he was a quarterback there way back in the late 70s, I still think they're going to go back to running the football. I think their offense is going to look similar to Miami. I think they will spread it out at times, but I think they'll play with a fullback. I think they're going to try to figure out who their running back is during the course of the game. Running back by committee. If a guy gets hot, that's who they'll stay with. And then along the way off of play action, they're going to try to hit the deep ball against Miami. It's going to be I think the two offenses, Miami's offense and LSU's offense, are going to be pretty similar.
What do you see in this game? Do you see a low-scoring game? Do you see the offenses getting going in this, Joe?
No, I think the strength is on defense on both sides, and I think it's going to be a low-scoring game. I think that's the way LSU wants to play it. I think LSU will try to slow it down. I think Miami will try to speed it up.
Right.
I think defense will carry the day. I think both defenses will be ahead of the offense. I think Miami's offense is better than LSU's offense, but I think LSU's defense is really good. So I'm looking for a low-scoring game in the low 20s, high teens. I think it's going to be a grinded-out affair.
And do you believe it's only a week and a half away? How nice is that? When you really think about it, you're talking September 2nd, right? So that's Sunday. We're so close. It's so nice to be able to talk about this game now being so close.
No, absolutely. It's big stuff. Tell me what you think, talking with Joe Zagacki here with the voice of the Canes. Tell me what you think here, Joe, about what is going on with the Canes quarterback situation, and particularly their backup quarterback situation. Should anything happen to Rozier, what do you think is going to be happening behind him?
Yeah, I think that's been probably the more interesting battle than Rozier. Rozier's the number one quarterback. Accounted for 31 touchdowns last year. That kind of gets lost in the shuffle because of the 3-game losing streak and the fact that he was a streaky quarterback in the last 4 games, completed 40% of his passes. He was 40 for 89 over his last 4 games. So he's going to have to be better than that percentage-wise against LSU. But behind him, everybody expected N'Kosi Perry to be the backup quarterback.
Right.
And I don't know. I think they have backup quarterback 1A and 1B. I think it's going to be Weldon and N'Kosi Perry with Jared Williams, the freshman, probably the guy that's number 3 or the late 2, whatever you want to call it, 2B. But Weldon has received a lot of the backup snaps and has had a very, very good camp. He's a good, very good player. He's big, he's strong, he knows the offense. So I think he's kind of held Perry off a little bit. We'll see how that shakes out, but I think Coach Rick's going to make those guys compete every week.
I want to take a little bit more of a broader look at the Canes season coming up here, Joe, and your thoughts on it as to where the Canes are here at this point in Rick's program. They just got inside the indoor facilities, which I think is a big jump. And I was just watching the very wise Paul Feinbaum, and a clip from him just a couple of years ago before the Canes hired Mark Richt. And he was talking about what a dumpster fire this program was and how the Canes fans still think that they're going to return to these glory years, and it's just not the same. They don't have the facilities. Who would want to come and take that job? There's too many other teams in Florida. Where would you put the state of the program now with the Canes compared to where they were? Everybody always wants to throw out that the Canes are back. Where would you put them in that climb, Joe?
Yeah, I don't know that they're all the way back, and I don't know that they will get back to the glory days that everybody enjoyed when they had 2 runs of winning streaks of 36 games.
Yeah,
that's
unbelievable.
Was unbelievable. You say once in a lifetime, maybe twice in a lifetime. The difference today compared to those days, I think, is simple. It is the inability to keep your team together, and that means guys leaving so quickly. And they're playing their best football now when they leave. the University of Miami because they're leaving after their junior year, as we saw with Kendrick Norton and R.J. McIntosh. Miami's a much better team this year with 2 senior defensive tackles in McIntosh and Norton, but they left early. And guys today are settling for saying, well, I'm going to go to the league and I'm going to get paid. Where if you watch the Hall of Fame the last couple of years, it's been a parade of Miami Hurricanes.
Right.
Those guys weren't Hall of Famers just at Miami. They made themselves in the Hall of Famers. They didn't settle for just going to the league. When they were at Miami, they wanted to be great at something. They were an All-American. They were an All-Conference player. They were an All-Miami something player. Guys now, I'm going to go to the league. So I think it's really hard to keep your team together. Where they are under Mark Richt is much further along than they have been in the last 10 or 12 years. He is very organized. He's got credibility. He's got focus. He's got tenacity. The credibility is the reason their facilities are improving. It's the reason the talent is improving. And he's got a great idea of what a championship team looks like. And that's what he's building toward. And he's pretty close. They're not that far off. There might be another recruiting cycle away, but they do have championship players on this team. Maybe not enough, but they are acquiring them.
Joe, they end with 3 losses last year. You're looking at the schedule this year. Obviously, LSU is big. You've got Florida State still on the schedule. What is the other game other than Clemson that the Canes could possibly face that right now just kind of scares you that maybe is just kind of sitting in the weeds?
Well, the games that scare you are obviously anytime you play Florida State. Whether you're good, bad, indifferent, Miami and Florida State, that's always a bruising battle. That game is at home. Going to Virginia Tech, even when Miami had their great teams, is not a picnic. Hokies play great defense, always have a great home field advantage. So playing there late in November, you don't know what you're going to get weather-wise, but you do know you're going to get a vicious Virginia Tech team. And the other 2 wild cards on the schedule probably are at Georgia Tech, just because of their style of play. I think Miami's beat them now 8 or 9 years in a row, or 8 of the last 9. But their style of play levels the playing field. And then people will probably look at me as if I'm crazy. And Miami in the Lifetime series, they've handled Boston College most of the time.
I knew it. Yep. We're on the same page.
I just wanted to see if you're going to say that, because that is that game that you're just like, whoa, watch out, Canes fans, for BC this year.
It's just BC once every 5 years is going to have a Boston College-looking team. Or they got a huge running back, which they do this year. Big offensive line, very good on defense. Not the same quality athletes as Miami, but they have always offered the kryptonite to Miami, even when the Hurricanes were great. So I just put a little star next to that game and say, don't sleep on it.
That's right.
That's the same one I've been thinking about when I was looking at the Canes schedule. For some reason, I'm looking at just see Boston College, October 26th.
Sitting in the weeds, baby.
It's a weird
Easy
game
to overlook, but don't.
Come on, Canes. October 26th. Don't overlook it.
Joe, I could talk football with you all day. I appreciate you giving us some good time here to talk about Canes football, and we definitely got to have you back. Okay, bud?
Anytime. Appreciate it. Thank you.
There you go. Voice of the Canes, Joe Zagacki right there. Seeing some great stuff, man. Gosh, it's good to be talking football.
Get him back next week. Let's do it again.
Okay, coming up here, we're going to talk a little bit about the Dolphins. What are their Super Bowl odds? Are they giving them a thumbs up, thumbs down? We'll discuss, and some crazy details from that Richie Incognito story we'll get to next.
Get Kevin's other show whenever the hell you want on YouTube and at 640thehurricane.com.
Well, it seems like Vegas shares my odds of optimism on the Dolphins.
Come on, man.
I'm sorry, dude. I don't know, man. I don't see a lot of things that get me excited about this team. I really don't. And trust me, I would, man. I would love to see the Dolphins roll in, win a Super Bowl. I'd love to see them get back to the playoffs. I'd love to see it. But the more I just watch other teams, I get excited about other stuff, and the Dolphins, I don't. Right now, the Dolphins are tied for the worst odds to win this year's Super Bowl, according to Vegas Insider.
Tied for the worst?
Tied for the worst, yeah. They look at them being the worst out there, 100-1 odds.
With who? The Jets? The Browns? Does it even say?
They got the Bills and the Jets, and I don't know. I mean, I know the Jets got a question at quarterback, and Bills as well. Cardinals, same thing. I mean, that's what you're seeing with a lot of these guys. The Bears and the Bengals. Those are the ones they think are going to be the worst teams in the NFL this year.
That is rough to be
that's
down
a company
in that.
They keep, yeah.
Yeah, that's not good, man.
They're in there, but I mean, can you make a strong argument that they are decisively better than any of those teams that I just named off?
I mean, yeah, I think they're better than the Bears and the Bengals. At least the Dolphins have, a quality starting quarterback, Ryan Tannehill. When you're the Bears,
you don't like Trubisky in Chicago?
No, I don't like Trubisky in Chicago, and no, I don't like Marvin Lewis and Andy Dalton in Cincinnati because they've never been good. They've gotten to the playoffs a couple of times, but they don't do anything.
Okay, you said they've gotten to the playoffs a couple of times. When was the last time the Dolphins got to the playoffs there, Diener?
It was 2 years ago when Tannehill got hurt.
Okay.
And they lost to your stupid Steelers.
When's the last time they won a postseason game?
That was the year 2000, I believe.
18 years.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was against the Colts, Peyton Manning and the Colts.
Okay, all right.
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was the running back for the Miami Dolphins.
Oh, the good old days of the Dolphins.
They won in overtime. I remember that.
Yeah.
And then they lost to the Raiders in the divisional round.
The over-under win total 6.5 is what they got for them. I don't know. How do you feel about this? Do you feel like the Dolphins do not belong in that grouping?
No, they don't. They really don't.
They don't belong in the group. Okay, tell me why.
I'm going to speak as an objective observer here.
Cool.
Okay?
Cool.
I'm taking off my Dolphins fan hat.
Yeah.
Okay? When you look at what the Dolphins have right now, I understand why you would put out a 6.5 number there because you lose guys on defense, you lose guys on offense. But from what we're seeing, Albert Wilson looks pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Kenny Stills is coming back. I know he has a little ankle thing right now, but he's going to be healthy. And he was the leading receiver anyway in touchdowns. They draft well at tight end. The offensive line is improving a little bit. And Ryan Tannehill comes back. The last time Ryan Tannehill was the quarterback of this team, he led them to the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
They were a 10-win team. So it just doesn't make any sense to me that now they chop 4 games off of them.
Well, I think part of it is you got to look and see how the schedule plays out. And I think for the Dolphins to be successful this year, they got to come out of the chute looking good. You got the Titans, you got the Jets, you got the Raiders.
Winnable games.
Winnable games. Okay, so you start off, do you think that this team right now is in the form and shape where they could start winning games right now? Does it feel like, okay, we're locked, we're ready to go, we're ready to start winning games in the NFL right now? Because I'm telling you, look at the back end of the schedule, that's where you end with the Patriots, the Vikings, the Jaguars, the Bills is your final game. And by the way, like somewhere in the mix there too, not too far off, is the Packers. So
that's in Green Bay.
I mean, honestly, you look at the Dolphins, you got to win early.
Yes.
You got to win early, which means you got to get ready to go now. And right now, the Dolphins are 4-24 on third down conversion so far in the preseason. You're not.
I know.
4 of 24 right now on third down conversions. They're not doing well on first and second down, putting themselves in these long third down situations. They're not converting. You're going to fix this up, and it looks like Tannehill's going to be gangbusters this week. Saturday night, they're going at it like it's a regular game. They're going to plan for it. They're going to do everything regular to the schedule. And then is he even going to play in the fourth preseason game? I don't know. So
most likely not.
Okay, so you're going to really...
This is it. This is the one.
This is it.
Yeah.
And you got to come out like gangbusters. Would you not agree?
Oh, for sure. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So if you see a bad Saturday night...
Yes.
Or you're not thrilled with the Dolphins, how do you feel about the season at that point? And are you going to argue they don't belong in that last grouping of teams in the NFL?
If they come out Saturday night and play like they have in the past couple preseason games...
when do you say a preseason game is super important?
This one is, I would say, and obviously not for record, of course, and in the end, it doesn't
but
matter.
For building confidence, because it's not just me. I mean, it's the guys that are in there that hear this kind of stuff. And you got to build some confidence and say, okay, I feel like we're getting some unity. We're playing like we're a team here. You got some rookie pieces which are going to be necessary now. It looks like on the roster they're going to have to perform. You get these guys ready to go. You've had some injuries that you don't like to see. Devontae Parker probably not going to be back, would you say, till the regular season?
Yeah, it's going to be the first game.
Okay.
Yeah.
And they had chemistry issues with him before he broke his finger.
That's for sure.
Okay. So I'm just saying, you've got Saturday night, and probably reserve judgment until Monday's show. but we can sit here and we could probably talk and say, gosh, I don't feel good about what the Dolphins did on Saturday night. And they got to be ready in 2 weeks to start winning. They can't start off the season
Right.
0-3.
No. If they start off the season 0-3 against the Titans, Jets, and Raiders, the season is over.
It's done. You're right.
Because
it's done and fast.
Yes, very fast. It has to be a fast start. Even 2-1, I would take. Now, they could conceivably, I'm not going to go crazy here, but with that schedule, they could conceivably go 3-0. The Raiders are at home.
They
the
could.
Titans are at home. And they're at the Jets.
You got to say they almost have to. At least 2-1, right? I mean, a 1-2.
At least 2-1.
1-2, you're still in trouble.
If they come out, yes, I totally agree. And if they come out on Saturday and they can't fix the penalty issue and they can't fix the third down issue, those are the two main things. I'm not worried about Tannehill at this point. Tannehill's going to be Tannehill. The running game is going to be the running game.
Okay.
They need to fix those two things. I'm not asking for them to go 10 for 10 on third downs. Just giving you like 60%, man. Just let's go 6 for 10 on third down. At least let's get the third and manageable. Stop getting these penalties on 2nd and 12. Then you have 2nd and 22, and you do a draw play, and you end up punting on 4th and 11. It's like that's what needs to stop. That's what needs to stop with this team. Because, and I'll go one further on this. I'm going to be that scheduled guy. I'm going to be that guy that looks down the schedule and says,
I think that's fair.
Because in this case, I think it is because after those first 3 games we mentioned,
they're
going to lose to the Patriots, and then they have. Because it's
I don't
New
know.
England.
They do a weird thing, man. Don't
They
the
do.
Dolphins always seem to dial up a win against the Patriots every year?
It's weird.
And it's early.
Yeah.
Last year, they beat them early.
It's true. So maybe I shouldn't discount it.
Yeah, I wouldn't write that
We'll
off
give it
yet.
80-20.
I wouldn't write that off yet. But you don't want to be put in a situation where you have a must-win against the Patriots
Correct.
early in the season.
Because then after that, they're at Cincinnati, extremely winnable.
Yeah.
Then they're home against the Bears and the Lions.
Okay.
I mean, you're talking very possibly
But it's
6 wins.
But it's very front-loaded.
Yes.
You will know midway through the season if you got a playoff team or not.
Yeah, because at the end it does get tougher. You go into November, you have the Packers, you have the Colts with Andrew Luck back.
Yep.
They do play the Bills twice, starting in December. So that's an advantage. But like you said, you have the Vikings, you have the Jaguars, sandwiched in between 2 Bills games to start December and to end the season.
I read a little blurb. Have you seen Stephen Ross on the sidelines? Has he been around much?
No, I haven't seen him at all, really.
Yeah, they were just, some people. I was just on Twitter, and some people were just kind of like, "Hey, where's Stephen Ross been?" And I don't know, what does this dictate with this team? You want to talk about a nervous team, and some people were speculating that Stephen Ross is kind of like out of it. He didn't like how they went personnel in the draft, and he's just kind of like, you know what? I'm kind of over it. I'm gonna sit back. I'm gonna watch Tannenbaum, Greer. This is you guys, Gase. I'm going to chill over here, but I better see something pretty quick. And if it starts off bad for the Dolphins, the wheels come off the bus. They know Stephen Ross is pissed, and they know the season's lost.
I'll tell you when to be worried. If you're those 3 guys, if Stephen Ross comes out and gives you a vote of confidence, then you should be worried.
That's when it goes downhill,
Yes.
huh?
Yes.
Okay. Got those Richie Incognito details. Going to talk a little bit about the Hard Knocks last night. Some good stuff on HBO. We'll get to that coming up in minutes.
Be part of the show on Twitter at 640 The Hurricane, #Kevin's Other Show.
We talked with concern yesterday about former Dolphins lineman Richie Incognito getting arrested again, this time at his father's funeral. And we're saying, look, man, we need like an intervention or something with this cat, because when's it going to get, just off the rails? He was arrested not too long ago in Boca at that gym when he flipped out, started chucking weights at people, and was just mumbling weird stuff. And he attacked what was like some kind of like a boxing dummy or something like
Yes.
that. I mean, just nut job kind of stuff,
Yeah.
man. But he's been doing this for a while, and you're like, okay, what's up with this dude? And the details, it wasn't just a simple little arrest either at a funeral home in Phoenix, man. His dad passes away, and it's just what he was doing.
Yeah, man, I got to say, like you said, we were pretty concerned yesterday. When I heard these details today, I'm even more concerned, honestly.
He was punching caskets.
What?
Dude, punching caskets.
Hopefully there were empty caskets.
A casket doesn't give. Yeah. Poof.
Right?
Hey, Helga.
At least that.
Dude.
What are you doing?
Then he started threatening to shoot people, and they went, and he had guns in his car. That's what we were saying yesterday, because we didn't have these details. He said, man, he's going to hurt himself or some other people. If you're a friend, family member of Richie Incognito, when do you say enough is enough, man? When does somebody step in and be like I said, I don't know if he's got mental issues, if it's CTE, if he's just been a lifelong a-hole. But either way, this guy seems like the next story that comes out about Richie Incognito is not going to be this cute he was punching caskets.
Yeah, it's going
to be this guy, wow, how did somebody not step in with this cat and shut him down?
It's going to be one of those things that we say every time after something bad happens, when you say, nobody knew, nobody said anything, nobody stopped this before it happened. And
what
this
else
is
we need here?
We said it yesterday. We kind of called this, really. Like you said, we didn't know any of these details until, after yesterday's show. And we kind of called it when we said we feel like this is kind of where he's crossed the line. I
think it's a cry for help. I mean, I think he needs it. And he, at one point, asked the staff at the funeral home if they would cut his dad's head off.
Oh, gosh.
For, quote, research purposes.
What is he doing?
I think he's mentally ill. I really do. I really think Richie Incognito is mentally ill, probably has been for some time, and somebody needs to step in because it's going to go. I mean, I'd say right now it's off the rails.
Yes.
It's arguably off the rails.
And it's saying a lot for us to say it is off the rails now, considering everything he's done in the past. I mean, this is bad, man. Like you said, it's not the cute, oh, look, he's saying the CIA is talking to him and he's throwing barbells and punching, dummies at the gym. Those things we had fun with. This is not good.
No.
Like, he's threatening to kill people. They're finding guns in his car. He's
too
punching
much.
caskets.
Somebody needs to jump in.
It's not good,
I hope
man.
he has somebody in his life that can. If not, somebody needs to be like, you got him.
Yeah.
Did you watch Hard Knocks last night on HBO?
I have a confession to make.
Yeah.
I fell asleep. I didn't get to see it.
Oh, man. It's good.
No, but I was so upset, and I woke up this morning like, dang it. I wanted to see Hard Knocks, and now I'm really kicking myself because it looked like another just great episode.
Yeah, well, they do, first of all, the people who do the documentary are great, and they do pretty much every year. They find these characters, you like them, this Juice, the tight end, whatever, man.
Yeah.
You're rooting for him. You're hoping he makes the team.
I really hope he does.
I got to tell you, Baker Mayfield, man, he's a likable dude.
You like this guy?
I do.
Okay.
I do. He's kind of won me over. I didn't know. I mean, he went out and last year, tried to plant an Oklahoma flag at the center of Buckeyes.
It's a big step for you.
It is. So, I mean, for me to be like, okay, I'm kind of feeling Baker Mayfield. I mean, it's a big deal. John Dorsey, if you haven't watched the show, he's the general manager of the Cleveland Browns, and he's an entertaining character. And just, one of those guys that would be easy to impersonate. Here's the actual John Dorsey from Hard Knocks.
Good afternoon, everybody. As you can see, Hugh's been doing a little shopping this summer, and he found himself a great sweatshirt. Pretty good, though.
This guy always wears this like brown sweatshirt. He has like this hat. I can't even see what does he have on the hat.
It's like the old school symbol for the Browns. It's like their old school little mascot. Kind of looks like a leprechaun, but I don't think it is.
Yeah, because I thought maybe it was a Notre Dame hat because I couldn't really see what it was.
It looks like that, yeah.
Yeah. So that's John Dorsey, and he always is like chomping on gum like crazy.
It's so annoying.
That
man.
usually affects the way he talks too. So Baker Mayfield wore the hat, put on the sweatshirt, and did his impression of John Dorsey.
Hello, this is John Dorsey. How you doing, buddy boy? See, being a Cleveland Brown is way more than just playing football. It's about coming to work every day with your hard hat and your Air Dorseys and your sweater.
So we got him on the sweater.
It's not bad.
That's not bad.
It's pretty good.
That gum is just that's hard to listen to, man. He went hard on the gum gimmick.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if you're one of the people. I'm one of those people that I cannot stand the sound of somebody chewing loud.
That way, no, that's pretty disgusting.
Yes. Okay. I mean, it makes my skin crawl.
Yeah,
So
don't let me hear it.
It's bad, man.
Yeah. But, kind of like seeing what was going on with him. Des Bryant made an appearance last night. No decision on whether he's going to join the team or not, but Hugh Jackson making some bold proclamations, the coach of the Browns, when he sat down with them.
You could help us get this organization back to where it rightfully should be. The last 2 years have been hell. I'll be the first to tell you that. But
yeah.
It's going to take guys like you who love to compete.
Coach, this new to me. The way you expressing yourself, the way you talking to me, I barely even know each other, and I feel comfortable.
What was he said? I think in that he threw out a statement, too, about this is going to be, I believe this is going to be the greatest turnaround in sports history.
He did. Yeah, he threw that in there. He said it's going to be the greatest turnaround. And to be fair, this is Hugh Jackson doing a sales job. And I got to tell you, man, he might be a better salesman than he is coach. Like, he sold me. I saw that clip, and I kind of was like, I want to play for the Browns right now. It sounds like they're going to be great.
I kind of want to root for the Browns.
Yeah.
Who do you think has a better record at the end of the year, Browns or Dolphins?
Don't say it. Don't do this to me.
Who do you think?
Dolphins.
6.5 is what they expect the Dolphins to do. Do you think the Browns are going to go over that?
All right, to be fair, Dolphins will have a better record. Dolphins, I would take the over 6.5.
Have you seen any Browns preseason games?
I've seen clips. I haven't actually sat down and watched them.
I mean, they kind of shot themselves in the foot in the Bills game, second half. But, I mean, first half, there were some exciting parts out there, I thought.
Browns win 6 games. Don't do this to me.
They get Dez
Bryant,
Bryant, they got Gordon back.
No, don't do this to me, okay? Browns are going to win 6 games. The Dolphins are going to win 9 or 10.
So you think the Browns are going to go 6, huh?
Yeah, I know. I do. I think they have enough talent to really kind of get back up there this year.
Okay. Yeah, so interesting stuff, man. Probably the fun stuff, though, from last night, Hard Knocks, was they introduced this guy. I hadn't seen him before, Bob Wiley. This just big walrus of a looking man.
That's a great description.
It's really what he looks like with his facial hair, and he's so massively big. I mean, the gut on this guy is unbelievable. It's just like it's like an explosion of like lard that has just come out over his pants and his body. And
You're not exaggerating at all.
No, and he's just this old school guy, just so old, and he's just so great, though. He's out here talking to these guys as they're stretching, and they do so much stretching, and it aggravates him because he's so old school, and he's like, I don't get all this stretching. Like, why do we waste so much time with this damn stretching?
World War I and World War II, all those guys that fought in that war, they did push-ups, jumping jacks, sit-ups, climbed the rope, and ran. But none of this fancy okay? Right? And they won 2 world wars. Two world wars. By doing jumping jacks, push-ups, and sit-ups. 2 world wars.
Two world wars.
You think they were worried when they're running across Normandy about stretching? Are you kidding me?
A few people might have
huh?
pulled a hammy.
Well, let me see. Give me my rubber band so I can stretch to run across that beach. You got to be kidding me.
This guy became a superstar last night. Everything I saw on social media was Bob Wiley this, Bob Wiley that. The way he says hut and his belly moves up like a bowl full of jelly.
Yeah.
It's just, it's so good.
Mm-hmm. Pretty good stuff, man.
We found somebody last night on this show.
That's honestly, it's been a great season. Yeah. Some people were saying, is it the best ever? I thought the Dolphins season was good.
It was pretty good.
Yeah. But I'm really kind of buying into what they're doing with the Browns. Great must-see TV. Coming up here in just a couple minutes, Giancarlo Stanton comes back to Marlins Park. What was the reception like? We'll discuss. Let you know next.
Can't wait to break down last night's game? Yeah, not. It's Kevin's Other Show on 640 The Hurricane.
Now last night, Giancarlo Stanton back in Marlins Park for the first time since getting traded in the offseason. You're wondering what his reception was going to be like last night, Diener?
I had a little bit less faith in Marlins fans than I probably should have, than they deserved. I'll put it that way. I was wrong about this one.
I didn't expect. There's not a lot of things to cheer about, and it's not like it was a guy that was like making a play for a lot more money. Sometimes when those players come back, it's because you're like going, oh, okay, so you were just too cool for the room or just, whatever happened. But I don't think that was the case. And Marlins fans, well, actually, there were a few Marlins fans. I think it was just more Yankees fans that were just cheering for Giancarlo last night. I'm not even sure that this is necessarily Marlins fans.
It was kind of hard to tell.
Yeah.
I mean, are they mixed into the crowd? Because, look, it was a standing ovation. I would actually be curious to know. I should have looked this up, actually. The attendance last night, it had to be their most highly attended game of the season. That's my guess.
It usually is when the Yankees are there. I haven't seen what the specific numbers are.
But you didn't hear any boos. You didn't hear any boos. So I'm going to say that the Marlins fans who were there were part of the crowd who were standing and cheering for Stanton. The guy deserved it.
Yeah.
He played here for 8 years. He became a superstar here. He deserved it. The only reason I thought that maybe they would have some ill will toward him was because of his press conference when he went to the Yankees. He kind of threw a little bit of shade at Miami, or I should say the Marlins organization. So I didn't know if they were going to kind of hold a grudge there. But they did what they should have done, which was give him a standing ovation.
Yeah, Moose Cole came out. He tapped his heart, gave kind of like a nice little thing. The crowd's going crazy. Goes up there. He does pretty well. Gets a single and a double last night. 12-inning game. You know who won? Not the Marlins.
Marlins almost won. Almost.
Yeah, I guess it's competitive. But keep in mind, like, almost every Yankee is out.
Yeah.
Judge is out. Sanchez is out. Didi Gregorius is out. So it was Stanton, basically, and Stanton.
Marlins almost won.
Greg Bird, yeah.
That's right.
Here was Stan at the end of the game, what he had to say about the kind ovation the crowd gave him.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot to take in. I mean, it's a lot of things to go into this, a lot to where I'm at now. And like I said, I grew up over there. It's the next part of my life to grow up, but, you know, that's always going to be a huge part of me. And, you know, it's just really special that they gave me that.
Mm-hmm. Well, what is his value to the Marlins? You know, obviously, yeah, it came with a big price tag. But it's been attendance issues as well. When he was here last year, Marlins are 28th in attendance. Now they're dead last at 30th.
They have to be, right? I mean, that's not shocking.
Mm-hmm.
It's not shocking at all. I mean, the only team you would think about that maybe would be lower was probably Tampa Bay.
Mm-hmm.
But it's definitely the Marlins.
You know what? When your team's supposed to suck, and they do, it's not that bad. You know, the team I'd hate to be a fan of right now, the Dodgers have come around. They're looking better, but the Nationals.
Yeah, man. What happened there?
I don't know. That's just so weird. I mean, you know, because they got spring training here in town, and just I remember the vibe and everything, like going, oh, okay, you know, expecting to be a playoff team. I don't know that you would see that. And just what's going on right now, they dished Daniel Murphy off to the Cubs.
He was a big signing for them.
He was a big signing. He's having a solid year. I mean, he doesn't have a lot of home runs, but he's hitting 300. You know, I mean, that's a solid bat.
He was part of that core that was supposed to take them, you know, over the next level with Harper and all these guys that they have going there to go to the pennant. I mean, this was a team that people expected to at least compete for a pennant, and now they gave up.
Yeah, I mean, there's actually some weird stuff that is kind of going on even with Harper. They're talking about should they just trade him now?
Absolutely. Absolutely, 100%. I don't know what the management group is doing. Number one, they waved the white flag yesterday by trading away these guys.
Yeah, that's what it feels like. It's like if you're a Nationals fan, this is disappointing because you start out with high hopes, and they just said, not this year, fellas.
Yeah, no, you're right. I would rather be today, I would rather be a Marlins fan than a Nationals fan because I would much rather be a fan of a team that you know is going to be terrible going into the year.
Mm-hmm.
It hurts more. It does. It hurts more when you have those hopes to really do something and contend, and then you get into the middle of August, and now you see your management group really just surrendering.
Sure.
They give up.
Yeah.
They give up yesterday.
Hey, we started the year knowing we were going to suck.
Yes, at least we had that advantage going into it.
Totally okay with it. Not a big deal at all.
No, I will take that any day of the week.
Yeah, that's all good. Yeah, I hate to be a Nationals fan. You guys actually thought you were going to be good.
Exactly. Who wants that?
Yeah.
You come over here with no expectations.
Mm-hmm.
That's much better.
Well, tomorrow on the show, we'll get to any decision that might be happening with Urban Meyer. As of right now, they're kind of like a meeting. It pretty much just has got this feel like it's the Vatican, and
Yes.
you're waiting for the smoke to go up. Is Urban Meyer going to be retained? Is he gone? Is he going to be suspended? What is going to happen? And it seems like both sides of the issue are just trying to get themselves ready. The anti-Meyer and the pro-Meyer camps are getting the arguments together, and their keyboards are set, and they're about ready to meet on the battlefield of Twitter.
Yes.
It's about to go down.
I just have this image of like Braveheart, where you have like on one side it's like Clay Travis and Paul Feinbaum and like Ohio State haters, and on the other side it's just the Ohio State faithful and Greg Schiano.
It's got that feel.
They have the face paint on.
It really does have that feel. It's pretty crazy stuff. So
it's one of those rare cases where we know going into tomorrow's show exactly what we're going to be talking about.
Oh yeah, it's going to be something. So we'll let you know our thoughts on that and what happened, and who knows? Maybe talk to Clay Travis. He's been very opinionated against Urban Meyer during the whole process.
Stay tuned. He may be on. He may be on with us tomorrow. So
yeah, Paul Feinbaum, who has railed all over Urban Meyer, I heard him in an interview from yesterday, and oddly quiet of any kind of more critiques.
It does feel like he's kind of getting ready to backtrack, right? Like he's now kind of taking the preventative measures to correct himself and say, okay, yeah, you know, I was saying this, but now this is what I think.
Well, you know, the problem is the Brett McMurphy reporting. You can go on to Kevin's other show, Twitter. I've been pretty quiet on the whole thing, but the one thing to look at is, and it is something interesting about reporting and journalism today, and you look at what Brett McMurphy reported and how, and somebody really broke down, because, he broke the whole story on his own personal Facebook and made edits and everything else. And it's really kind of fascinating to see how the story went, and he dictated a lot of the narrative and really broke a lot of journalistic codes on how things should have been done. And you can see with the persuasion of social media how quickly you can turn a fan base and divide lines based on not necessarily accurate information. So that's why you're going to see two different sides of this, because the people who've really been inundated in the details are going to have a much more strong opinion about it than the people who have just heard that first report and saw Urban Meyer's clips from the Big Ten media days.
The fact of the matter is that most people, and this goes for this story, this goes for any really type of news story that you come across, most people are not willing to do their own research. Most people just follow the mob and say, oh, look, that's what they're thinking. I'm going to think that too. Get rid of. Most people are just that way, where they're just not willing to do the work and kind of find their own truth.
Human nature has dictated us that way, but unfortunately, where we are with social media and today's journalism, we're going to have to learn to pump the brakes and wait for all the details from a corroborated source to come out before you get such strong opinions that you'll never be able to break.
And I've said it 100 times. I would be the first one to come out and say, screw Ohio State and screw Urban Meyer as a Canes fan, but you got to be fair here.
I don't even know what my take's going to be. If I find out that he was covering up for domestic abuse, I'm going to be the first one, and if they keep him, I'm going to be like, bad move, Ohio State. This guy needs to be gone. So I'm still withholding my opinion. I don't even know yet. I got to see what they come up with and what they say.
We got to be fair. Just like you said from day one, just be fair.
Just be fair. Get all the information first. Check out that report. It's on our Twitter, Kevin's Other Show. You can download this podcast too and just subscribe. Bam, it's going to be there for you every single day. Easy for you to listen to. And you can also watch this on YouTube. If you just look for Kevin's Other Show, you'll find it right there.
You listened to him on the KVJ show for years. Every time he tried to talk sports, he'd get shut down. After years of begging, we finally gave in. Brought to you by Wellington Anti-Aging. Low T? Go to WellingtonAntiAging.com. And by Bremen Motor Cars in West Palm Beach. A world-class experience. Shop BremenPorsche.com now. It's Kevin's Other Show on 640 The Hurricane.